My Module 3 hackathon project, which is an application called Taper. So Taper was designed because most all fitness apps have some type of recommendation system, but they all have the same flaw, and that is that they learn what the athlete likes, and what they usually like is the harder tempo runs or the interval runs or the big workouts. And most all athletes don't really love the recovery days or the recovery runs. So Taper is an application that's designed around responsibly suggesting workouts that are optimized for performance and recovery and athleticism. So it's built for what the athlete can safely absorb and not just what they enjoy and what they would like to have recommended to them. So the app we see here is the Taper app. How it works is a new user can fill out just a quick little intake form here, which is their sport focus, the goal hours, the recent hours is how many hours per week they've been training recently, and then their max intensity that they're looking for. So this is how the system handles a cold start. So there's no history needed for the system. It's one of the challenges that the application is able to resolve. So if we were to just run through the app quickly here, if I'm looking at doing 6 hours a week as a runner, and I've recently just been doing 2 hours a week. Actually, let's make this a little bit more realistic. Let's say recently I've been doing 5 hours a week, and I want to do an intensity of 4. So we will do the recommendation here, and there's 2 columns here. So there's the naive column and there's the constrained column. So naive just focuses on relevance, so it's a little bit more eager and aggressive of a training plan, and then constrained is more safe. And the numbers you see on the side here are the acute to chronic workload ratio. So that basically measures how much training you've been putting on your body recently compared to how much you will be doing in these upcoming runs. So for someone who's been doing 6 hours a week, recently been doing 5 hours a week, and they want to be doing 6 hours a week at an intensity level of 4, they can choose to either take an aggressive approach by following this plan, running 5 days a week, or a more simpler plan. So you have more easy runs in here, 3 long runs, 2 easy runs, and there's a lower acute to chronic workload ratio. If we jump on over to, or if we even just stay within the run and we say, I want to run 10 hours a week, but I've only been doing 2 hours a week. See how this does. So this is where the application really shines, is that it does highlight, some of the safety measures, right? So it'll tell you this is quite a high acute to chronic workload ratio if you're wanting to run 10 hours a week, but you've only been doing 2 recently. So here's the naive approach, which most, I think, applications nowadays would suggest, and that is to just jump right in head first and take on these long runs. But the constrained approach for relevance and safety and a proper taper and recovery and overall health would be to take this approach here. So the system does a great job at working with minimal historical data, but then also providing ethical suggestions and balancing safety and relevance. So thank you for tuning into the Hackathon project, and I'll catch you all later. Thank you.